Hi, I'm Russell from Hardy High Campers, and in this video I'm going to show you how everything works inside and out on your chosen motorhome, Fred. First of all, we operate a full-to-full policy on the fuel. It's standard diesel. When you collect the motorhome, it will be full of diesel. When you need to replenish the fuel, you just open the flap there, close the door, and obviously when you're finished, it literally just closes straight back over again. There is a fuel additive called AdBlue that shouldn't need replenishing while you're away. However, if it did, just make sure that you do fill it up. If you keep the receipt, we'll reimburse you on your return. The locking of the motorhome is done by the remote key, but the habitation door also works on the same circuit. So when you come to the motorhome, you press the remote key like so. It will unlock the motorhome, including the habitation door. If you want to then retract the step out, there's a button at the very bottom here, which you press, that brings the step out, and obviously then you can step straight into the motorhome. To retract the step back in, just to point out, there is a button here which you just press, and it will take the step back in. Press it a second time, it brings it straight back out again. Okay, so the cassette toilet compartment is here. When it's time to empty the cassette from the toilet, what you would do is you would lift up this blue catch here, like so, and pull the cassette out. Just something to bear in mind, if for any reason that doesn't seem to want to come out, don't force it, it could break. The reason is that you've potentially left the trapdoor open inside the toilet, and all you do is you go back inside into the toilet, you close the grey lever back over again, which in turn will close the trapdoor over, come back out again, and then you'll notice that the cassette will slide nice and freely out. So on the campsite that you'll be on, or wherever you may be, you'll need to take it to the disposal unit and open this cap like so, and then all you do is you will tip the waste out down the disposal unit. It's probably worth giving it a couple of flushes before you slide it back in there. So a couple of rinses is about enough, but then before you do slide it back in again, what you would do is you would slide this cap over and then just quickly twist this over to reveal the cassette inside, and then all you do is you probably put about half a pint of water in, and either one of the little green sachets that we use now, or some of the blue chemical. One of those two is absolutely fine. So there'll be a little bit of solution in there before you're ready to put it straight back in like so. And as I say, just make sure that you're smooth with it and slide it in until it clicks, close the door back over again, and you're good to go. This little flap here reveals a gas barbecue point which we're not using, so you can ignore that. But at the back of the motorhome here, you see that you have a very, very handy garage area. Now this is where you'll find the hookup lead, the hose pipe, level ramps, and the silver screen blackout blinds for the cab windows. But ultimately you can store your own belongings in there so they're not cluttering up the motorhome. It's a good size, it's not particularly high, but it does go from one side of the motorhome to the other. You can actually fit a lot in there. It's really handy. So the motorhome is equipped with two big underslung water tanks. The first one is the clean water tank. It's 100 litres, so ultimately when you collect the motorhome it will be full for you. When you replenish it, you will use this cap here, but you don't need to use the blue valve here because that dumps the clean water. You don't want to do that, but you will occasionally need to empty the grey water, so that's anything from the sinks, from the shower, and as long as you use a suitable point on the campsite that you may be at, the valve is the grey one just here, and all you do is you twist it 180 degrees, it will dump your grey water, you close it back over again once it's gone, and that will mean that you're good to go again. The water for the clean water tank is replenished via this cap here. So all you do is you feed the hose pipe in, turn the tap on, it will start pumping the water into the tank. You'll know when it's full because it will start backing up and pouring straight back out. So all you do is you turn the tap off, take the hose pipe back out, close it back over again and lock it, and you're done. So Fred is equipped with two 6 kg gas bottles. The first one connected will obviously have gas in it when you collect the motorhome. The second one will be completely full. So ultimately, if you need to change the gas bottle while you're away, the process is you just close the gas valve over. You will untighten the hose that's on that gas bottle, bearing in mind that it's a left-handed thread, so it's left to tighten and right to untighten. It's the opposite to what you would expect. You then take the hose off, you put it onto the new gas bottle, tightening by hand as much as you can. And once you've done that, then you open the tap on top of the new gas bottle, and that will take the gas straight back into the motorhome, and you're good to go again. So you've arrived on your campsite and it's time to hook the motorhome up to a power supply. You get the power cable out of the garage area, you bring it round here, and you just plug it in like so. The other side goes onto the... I'm overthinking it, sorry. So you've arrived on your campsite and it's time to plug the motorhome into a power supply. All you do is you take the power cable out of the garage area, you come round to this side here and you just plug it in like so. Just something to bear in mind as a fail-safe, so you don't drive the motorhome away with it still connected. You would get the orange cable and wrap it around the wing mirror here, just as a visual deterrent. So when you jump into the driver's seat, you can see that it still needs to be disconnected. So all you do is unplug like so, you just pull it straight out, close that flap over like so, wind the cable back up, straight back into the garage, and you're ready to move off onto your next campsite. So the handbrake in Fred is slightly different to a lot of other vehicles, but principally the same. It's just that the handbrake always goes down back to the horizontal position. This is because there's a captain's seat that swivels around. So as you can see now, it's loose like so, but it's loose whether it's on or whether it's off. So first and foremost, if you want to take the handbrake off, you bring it up to the top, you push the button in, lift and lower down. Obviously then the light on the dashboard which tells you the handbrake's on will go out. To put it back on again, all you do is you push the button, lift it back up, let go, and it will drop back down again to the horizontal position. So it's very easy to work through, but as I say again, lift up to take off the handbrake, and to put it back on again, just lift it back up again, let go of the button and drop it down. So that pretty much summarises everything about the outside of the motorhome on Fred. It's now time to go inside the motorhome and show you how everything works in there. So Fred is a 4-berth motorhome. We'll demonstrate the electric drop-down bed in a moment, but the seating area at the rear does make a nice big double. It's a transverse double, so you sleep sideways, but it's really, really easy to set up and it's done in a matter of minutes. All you do is you lift the cushion up like so, you bring the base right across like that, and then what you're going to do, you're going to use some of the cushions, the side cushions that is, as the infills. So one goes in there like so, and then there's another one which goes in here, and then you've made your bed up. It's very easy to do, very easy to set back to a seating area in the morning. And there's a little catch here, as you can see, just to lift up, just so the base doesn't freely move when you're driving. So all the windows in the motorhome can be opened. All you need to do is lift up the levers like so, push the window open, and then to keep the window open you need to just screw these tight like so, and that will keep the window open. Just remember, before driving away, these windows need to be closed for safety. So again, just the opposite, you loosen these back off again, close the window back over and close shut like so. So the motorhome is equipped with blackout blinds and fly screens. You also have blackout blinds on the skylights as well. But to give yourself some privacy, all you do is you push down the blind like so. If it's daytime and you just want the fly screens, then you can just simply push down like that. You can then push them both back up at the same time if you want to. The skylight blackout blind is slightly different. You just got to push it all the way across like so, and it does clip on. You have to be a little bit gentle with that because it's a little bit delicate, but it just simply pulls straight back over like so. If you want a bit of air to come in, you would need to pull this down, and to open this particular skylight, you pull these two levers together and push all the way up. You can then close back over the flap like so, so you've got the ventilation. But just something to bear in mind, always remember before you drive off, and this includes the windows, make sure that everything is closed and secured for safety. So inside the kitchen area, you'll see that there is another skylight. This particular skylight does have an extractor fan, but to open this particular skylight, maybe when you're cooking, for example, you twist this all the way around, which will raise the skylight. And again, if you're cooking and you want to extract something, then you have to push this button here. And as you can see, there's buttons on the left and the right hand side in order to either extract air or bring air in, as you will. But there are various buttons that you need to press like so in order to increase or decrease the power output. But again, as I said to you, always remember to turn everything off, and before driving away, lower the skylight completely like so. And again, this particular skylight does have a blind as well. It's slightly different to the rear one, but you have to pinch this like so in order to bring across that blind. It is spring loaded, so you need to be a bit careful with it when you're bringing it back across. It's really simple. So the storage in the motorhome is very good. As you can see, there's lots of lockers around the motorhome in the front and the rear. To open them, you just need to pull the lever down and lift up. And again, just make sure that before you're driving away, they are locked in position so nothing's falling about when you're driving. There is a really good handy wardrobe here. There is some hanging space in there as well, and in the bottom you do have some shelving for some other clothes as well. There is something just to point out here. It is where the freestanding table is kept for dining of an evening or in the morning. It can be put here or it can be put at the front, whichever suits best. But it is quite a heavy table, so again, just make sure that when it's in, that is closed so it's not sliding out as you're driving around corners. So now we're inside the toilet and the shower room, and as you can see, it's a really good size. The shower, first of all, has a standard mixer tap, so you can get the temperature just right. And there is a nice shower screen as well, which divides the toilet from the shower. There is a little catch, you can't see it, but there's a little catch here that you just need to move across gently when you're closing the screen over. But just remember, once you have finished, to make sure that that is secured back in place with this catch, so when you're driving off, it's not flying around and it's likely to break. So when it's time to use the toilet, what you would do is you would lift the lid up like so, but you do need to open the trap door, as I said earlier on, outside. So this grey lever needs to be pushed across like so. Once you've used the toilet, you can flush with this blue button here, but always remember to close that trap door back over again, because what that does, it will cut any smells out and also mean that you can actually remove the cassette toilet on the outside when it's time to do so. There are a couple of cupboards in here as well. The bottom cupboard here generally houses the toilet roll that we supply and the chemical for the toilet. But there is also a locker up here as well that you can put in whatever you want. So Fred is equipped with a really big fridge freezer, and as you can see just here you have a really big freezer compartment and a separate bottle drawer for any beverages. And something to note as well, it is a three-way fridge. So by three-way I mean it runs on gas, engine battery or 240 volt when you're hooked up on a campsite. It's fully automatic, it just does its own thing, which means it'll always be nice and cold for you. So now it's time to show you how the control panel works in the motorhome. The top left button here is the... Actually, let me just turn it off a minute, okay. So now it's time to show you how the main control panel works inside the motorhome. The top left button here is the main on-off button, as you can see. The button down here is the master switch for the lighting. This button here will turn on the pressure to the water pump, so when you need to have a shower or use the sinks or the electric flush toilet, this needs to be pressed and this button illuminated. This button here is the exterior awning light, so you have a little bit of illumination outside when you're leaving or coming back in of a night time. This button here flicks through the onboard computer system, which can tell you how much fresh water you got, i.e. 100%, wastewater, water 0%, and it can tell you the status of the leisure batteries, the engine battery, and also interior and exterior temperature and humidity. So that's pretty much it for the control panel there. The heating and the hot water are slightly different. This one on the left hand side here is for the heating. This one on the right hand side is for the hot water. So you can see the plus and the minus buttons here, and these are for the thermostat, but you need to remember how you want the heating or the hot water to be operated. It's either going to be done via gas or electricity. The little gas flame here is if you're wild camping, for example, or this one here is for when you're on an electric hookup. There are three little lights above this electric symbol here. It's for 1, 2 and 3 kilowatts. What you don't want to be doing is having 3 kilowatts on electricity and 3 kilowatts on water, because it might trip the system. I would say 1 or 2 on each will be absolutely fine. To reset, if there's a lockout, there's a button just at the bottom here that you've got to press and hold for 5 seconds, and that will clear the lockout. Lockouts are caused if, for example, you are trying to heat water or use the heating system with electricity and you're not hooked up, for example, or if you're trying to use gas for heating and hot water and the gas has run out. So this is the button that you need to press to reset the trip. And that's about it, really. So I've shown you how the rear bed is made up, but it's now time to show you how the electric drop-down bed works. The first thing that you need to do with the electric drop-down bed is ensure that there's no obstruction. The driver and passenger seats need to be pushed all the way forward, and the cushions on the left and the right hand side of the motorhome have been removed and stowed somewhere else. At the moment I've got them in the cab area. And then what you would do is you would use this key on the key fob, put it in the lock here, and just twist 90 degrees to the right. The power does need to be on, and once you're happy that the bed can be lowered and there's no obstruction, you press like so, and the bed will come down in one smooth motion. You can, if you want, stop it at various points along the way, but we find that most people choose to lower it down to the very bottom, which is fine. So now it's at its lowest point. You would still need to use the ladder. Now the ladder is at the moment inside the wardrobe here, but it might be inside the garage potentially. And again, once you're finished, you push the up button and that will take the bed all the way back up to the top. It will stop on its own and that's good to go. Just something to bear in mind, that because the bed can be set at various heights we do insist that no one under the age of 6 uses the electric drop-down bed. But as you can see, there is a net that can be engaged with these straps here into these, just so no one is likely to fall out. But again, just before putting the electric bed back up, you just need to make sure that it's pushed back underneath the mattress here, pushed down, just so there's no obstruction when it's going back up again. So now onto the cooking facilities, and as you can see, you have a 3-ring gas hob. To turn it on, you need to press and hold for a couple of seconds, and that will then operate the gas rings. It's the same principle with the oven and grill, it's all integrated, as you can see. The ignition is slightly separate though here, and to use this ignition the power does need to be on. Always make sure when you're driving that there's something under here. It's just a general rule when people are driving motorhomes that the glass can rattle, so we tend to use the oven mitt that we supply or a tea towel, and that can be the same with the cover here for the sink. Okay, so the motorhome is equipped with standard plug sockets. There are 2 of them. There's one in the kitchen area just here. There's one just around this corner as well. Something to bear in mind that the plug sockets only work if you're hooked up to an electric power supply, but if you're wanting to charge anything, if you're wild camping for example, so mobile phones or tablets, this is all done via USB. The USB sockets are located underneath the front locker here, and also underneath this one just here. Now they're set to a permanent live as well, which is handy. So again, when you're driving for example, they'll be charging away quite nicely. Just something to bear in mind that if it's just a couple of people and you just want to charge up the front, you have got one standard USB port as well for charging a mobile phone. So this is a 4-berth motorhome with 4 belted seats, but the rear seat passengers will need to sit comfortably and safely as well. In order to do that, you will have to change the configuration of the seating. At the moment, as you can see, it's in an L shape, but it's really quick and easy to change that so the rear seat passengers can sit comfortably. You just have to remove the side cushions, the base cushions as well, and this base piece here. Again, this can all be stowed in either the garage on the outside of the motorhome or the wardrobe for example, but as it is now, it means that the rear seat passengers can travel in safety and comfort. When you get to your destination and you're parking up, all you do is you put it straight back on like so. Cushions are just simply pushed back like that, and that makes a really nice communal seating area. Okay, so the motorhome is equipped with a TV and a DVD player as well. DVD player is on the right hand side here. Just be mindful that if you are using the DVD player to make sure that the DVD is going in the correct way. It does say mirror side this way and label side this way, so just be careful with that. But every time you get to a new destination, you will have to retune the television. So all you have to do is when the TV is turned on is you press the menu button like so. You press the down arrow key and OK. Down arrow key once more to UK and press enter, and then it starts performing its search for the strongest TV stations. After about 5 minutes, when it gets to the end here, you'll see all the stations for the digital TV and the radio that have been found, and all you have to do is just press OK and then it will store those in. The TV can be moved, but always be mindful that it needs to be retracted back before you drive away. So you lift that little pin up here, you push it all the way back in and just give it a wiggle and make sure that it's not going to move while you're driving. Okay, so Fred is equipped with captain's chairs which swivel round, so that's a driver and passenger seat. It really does open up the communal living area. In order to swivel the seats around, there is a lever at the front. Now the lever at the bottom will bring the seat forward and backwards as normal, but there's a half lever just above that you just need to pull and start the turn. But like I say, you will have to probably manipulate the seat ever so slightly, and it's a lot easier to turn if you just open the door ever so slightly like so, and then as you can see it slides freely round, and again you can sort of change it and move it as you will. When you're putting it back round again, just be wary that it is a safety seat with a seat belt, and you just need to make sure that you have locked it into place and you hear that firm clunk. Once you've done that, you're ready to move off again. Okay, so onto lights now. You need to have the main master switch pushed and illuminated on the control panel, and then you can go around the motorhome and switch all the lights on individually. This one here is the one for the toilet and the shower because it's not inside the cubicle itself. These two here are for the lights at the rear of the motorhome. There are a couple of handy reading lights at the back as well. And the two switches just underneath here are for the lights at the front of the motorhome. This one here is for the kitchen. And something to point out as well, the electric drop-down bed, once it's down, there is a reading light up at the very top as well. Okay, so this particular motorhome isn't equipped with fitted cab blinds. However, we do include the silver screens so you can have privacy, and it does help. Okay, so this particular motorhome isn't equipped with fitted cab blinds. However, we do include the silver screens, which help gain privacy and help reduce heat input into the motorhome as well. You'll find them situated inside the garage at the back of the motorhome, and when it's time to fit them, all you do is you take them out of the packet and then they sucker onto the inside of the windscreen and the side windows as well. Just be careful when removing them so you don't lose any of the suckers, and then all you do is you fold them back up, put them inside the bag and straight back into the garage at the back, and you're done. Okay, so Fred is equipped with satellite navigation. It's motorhome specific, so it shouldn't take you down any roads that a vehicle of this size shouldn't be going down. There is also a reverse camera which you can turn on manually yourself when you're driving, but also when you engage reverse you will see the reverse camera pop up. There's something just to bear in mind when you are doing any form of reversing. Because it's a large vehicle, we always highly recommend that there is someone guiding you back when you're doing any form of reverse manoeuvres, just so you don't run the risk of damaging the rear of the motorhome. You can see that the vehicle looks quite similar to a standard car, whereas you have the indicator on the left hand side, the wipers on the right hand side. You have a multifunction steering wheel with audio controls, onboard computer settings here as well, but also you do have cruise control, so if you're traveling some distance you can set the cruise control, so it's a bit more comfortable on a longer journey. The lights are down on the right hand side. You might not be able to see, but there is an automatic setting which is handy, so they'll come on when they're needed and go off when they're not. The electric mirror switches on the right hand side here as well, so you can manipulate the mirror glass to what's most comfortable for you. The mirrors actually fold in manually. You can reach out and pull them in if need be as well. You have stop-start technology on this vehicle as well, so if you pull up to a set of traffic lights, for example, and you take it out of gear and you take your foot off the clutch, the vehicle, as the engine will stop momentarily. As soon as you put your foot back onto the clutch again, the engine fires back into life and away you go. You have the ventilation controls on the middle here, as well as air conditioning. It's a standard 6-speed gearbox. The reverse is a lift up, over and far left for reverse, which then you'll see the reverse camera pop up. Hazard lights are here, and you'll also see that you have a USB charging port that I mentioned earlier, and another 12-volt port there for anything else that you might want to plug in. A little handy pouch here for putting your mobile phone as well. There are rain sensing wipers up here as well, so they can be set to automatic if you want. And to lock yourself in of an evening, as I was saying earlier on as well, rather than just using the key fob, you can actually use the lock buttons. There's a padlock button here to unlock and to lock the cab doors, which does include the habitation door as well. Okay, so that pretty much summarises how everything works on the outside and the inside of Fred. If you have any problems while you're on holiday, we're just a phone call away. The number to call is 07421 148 418. And just before I go, just to remind you that because it's a full-to-full policy, we do ask you to replenish the fuel before dropping the motorhome back off again. But also, if you can replenish the clean water tank, empty the wastewater tank, and clean and empty the cassette toilet as well, where it's got nothing in it whatsoever. Again, if you have any questions while you're away, don't hesitate to give us a call. So we just hope you enjoy your holiday.